These are the cards that I pulled for myself earlier when asking the question of how to approach this video making and what to keep in mind for this video attempt for today. First card that came out here was the Eight of Swords. And this one, when it originally fell out of the deck, it fell just like that, upside down and in that spot. So, realize I'm just pointing the camera in the wrong direction there. But what I took this to mean is that this is an opportunity to explore and lean into my own internal sense of limiting beliefs for the greater purpose of looking far off into the future, allowing my horizon to expand, reaching towards that kind of like star energy on that distant horizon there. I also had the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. And that came out to me is initially the idea of having a deeper understanding and what I usually short phrase to mastery of your emotions, or my emotions, mastery over my emotions, will allow a greater gift from the universe in the terms of love, be that for the self primarily, but also when we have greater love for ourselves, then our cup floweth over and that love sort of seeps into everything that we do and touch. So secondarily, as I was kind of walking around and thinking about this, something else came to mind here, and it's that I should expand with you all on the idea of what mastery of emotions looks like, because when we use the word mastery, sometimes we think of the ability to have control over, and that is not what the King of Cups is all about. He's not about controlling his own emotions. That's not what his mastery shows up as. It's more about having a deep and abiding understanding of one's own emotional landscape and of the emotional landscape at large as well. And being able to stay with himself while experiencing a variety of emotions. So it's not the ability to control the way one feels about things. It's more about having an understanding and being able to stay with oneself, whether you need to swim within the emotions or ride through a storm. Regardless, it's being able to be in that place of inner stability that is indicated here, and inner calm, even while experiencing the wealth, or at least not always necessarily maintaining a sense of inner calm. That's not even it. It's knowing that you have that place always available to you, and that if you lose that place for a moment, you always have it to come back to. So, and then at the bottom of the deck here, I got the Nine of Swords, which is telling me that this is going to touch on a lot of anxieties for me. So there was also this kind of message of like, again, moving through self-limiting beliefs, looking towards a greater horizon, having to do a lot with emotional truths and the idea of vulnerability, and that's going to kick up some dust for me. So here we are. Hello, magical people. My name is Lou, and I would like to welcome you back to my channel, and incidentally, also to my dining room, which usually does have most of the plants that live in the house in it, but now is also kind of doubling as my sort of seedling space. Oh, what do I want to say here? After I did that reading for myself earlier and was just kind of moving about the space, preparing to make this video for y'all, a certain memory came to mind. And that doesn't always happen with readings. It doesn't even usually happen with reading. And the memory that came up today was of a conversation I had with somebody several years ago. And what this person said was, we were talking about the phrasing of following what resonates. And they went on to sort of clarify that the whole idea of, another popular phrase that you hear out there is follow your bliss, and that following your bliss and following what resonates are not the same. Because what resonates doesn't always feel good. Sometimes things resonate with us because they validate us in some way that we are conscious to, and we just know things to be true. But there are other things that resonate in a way where it brings up things to allow us to have an opportunity to heal them. And I think this YouTube channel is maybe a very good example for me of the whole notion of following what resonates. Because if you had said to the me from 10 years ago that I was going to have a YouTube channel where I was intentionally creating content focused around myself, where I was appearing on screen, I probably would have not believed you. I definitely would have not believed you. I'm not typically what one would think of as a performer. I don't usually like to be the center of attention when I'm in social groups. I'm more likely to kind of hang at the edges, maybe dip my toes a little bit, but more likely to kind of hang at the edges rather than be the person who steps into a place of being focused. Usually that actually makes me really uncomfortable. So the fact that that's exactly what I'm doing here with this YouTube channel is one of those, like, it resonates in the way that once I started having the idea, I couldn't put it away. I couldn't discount it, even though it made me really uncomfortable and it made me feel really anxious and it pushed on a lot of unhealed or semi healed or whatever sort of core wound type things. Ooh, we're getting right into the deep shit already, right? One of my core wounds is sort of around the idea of taking up space and being seen. The idea of taking up space and standing out in any way, I guess, is just a little bit uncomfortable. And yet, here I am making videos on YouTube, feeling called to do that in some way, to take up space, to say words, and to share the way that I think and feel. And even though with the tarot readings that comes through indirectly, it's still me. You know, it's still my worldview that comes through in the way those messages are conveyed. Getting rambly already. Since it is scary for me to share a little bit about myself, I'm going to try just sharing a little bit about myself in a bunch of ways. So I feel like I've already shared a little bit of a deep emotional truth, and maybe this is a defense mechanism starting to come up a little bit. But now I'm feeling like I kind of want to step away from that and show you other aspects about how I think, feel, and do that maybe aren't quite so loaded. So we are going to take a little tour to start with around the dining room here. And I just want to show you all the artichoke babies that had shown up in a video that I did a couple weeks back when they were even tinier. So I want to show you that and just show you some other projects that I'm working on. And yeah, so let's get to it. Take a little tour around the dining room and I'll show you all the fun things that I've been planting and we'll, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. We're just gonna see. Could I be any more awkward? So here we are with a new camera angle and everything. We are now, what's that word? We are now on the move. Okay, so we have here, there's like 13 artichokes. I started out with 15. I gave a couple to a friend, and some of them, anyhow, are starting to get their first true leaves. So that is pretty exciting to watch that come out and see. Look, this one's getting two, and this one as well. So that's what those are the first leaves that are going to pop out that actually kind of look more like an actual artichoke leaf. And maybe when I take the video outside later, make a mental note here to show you what a bigger artichoke looks like. All of these other ones that are not artichokes are various types of sunflowers, and a couple of them were getting a little leggy and weren't able to stand up. And I gotta say, I am sure I am not the first person who has thought of this, but I was so impressed with myself because these are I really like boba tea, and so I had some, and the straws. This is maybe a little embarrassing, but the straws are also great for when I make milkshakes at home. because, milkshakes are thick, and so having the bigger straw. So anyways, I keep the straws. I have a bunch of them. I reuse them and wash them with a bottle brush and shit like that because I make a lot of milkshakes. And uh, anyways, it occurred to me that it would be back at the plants, that it would be a good idea to cut the straw and then just go ahead and sort of slip it around there like a little bit of a sleeve to help those buddies stand up. Look here, this is the artichoke that Mr. Man stepped on, and as you can see, it did break one of the leaves there, but it has two of its true leaves coming out, so it is going to make it, I think. And some of them, like this cute little sunflower here, still have the little seed attached to them. And look, even I was noticing just earlier that even some of the little sunflowers are starting to get their first little hint of their first true leaves coming in as well. I also have, because I've kind of taken over a lot of the dining room, as I tend to do, I also have 2 germination trays going with a variety of things. I don't know that we have any babies coming up here, but let's take a look. We do have babies. So we've got 1, 2, and almost maybe a third one coming out of here. And this is V. Oh, and I think we got one coming out of there. That's S. So let's take a little look-see at my list. Let's see. V. Oregon sugar pod peas. Nice. That other one that came out, S. Oh, that's a zinnia. Lovely. That's exciting. So yeah, hopefully more of these guys will germinate. Some of the seeds are a few years old, so I'm assuming that I'll probably have reduced germination rates, because usually seeds are made new for every season. And yeah, so let's see what else we got over here. Oh yeah, so these are all marigolds, all of these little babies, but this one popped up too. So what is that? That is Q. I don't see any other little ones going yet here. Some of the things will take several weeks to germinate, so I'll keep you posted on that if you're interested. And if you are interested, like, comment, subscribe. Look at me remembering to do the thing. So that was Q. Oh, it's a lupin or lupine. Lupin? I'm not sure how that's said, but I know they're beautiful and I'm looking forward to getting them. So that's some of what I've got going on inside. We also have here, I cut back the sage. One of my sage plants was getting very, very woody. And with sage, as well as with a variety of other plants, including like lavender, it's best to cut them back in the early spring after you've seen some growth. So that way you kind of know what branches and bits are looking good and where you want to cut back to allow that growth to continue when the weather gets better. So this I'll probably dry some. I mean, I'm drying all of it, but I'll probably keep some for culinary use. And then my primary reason that I wanted to keep all this and dry it, though, was because oh, it smells so good. Was because I was going to make an incense blend. I have a bunch of different kinds of resins and whatnot, and every now and again I'll kind of put them all together and make a little incense blend. I have a little cauldron that I put the charcoal briquettes in, and it's nice just to sort of custom make stuff for myself, because I don't like, or I don't personally care for a lot of what is commercially available. I'm pretty particular about scents. But anyhow, yeah, what else we got going over here? We've got a couple of leather projects that I'm working on. This one is for just myself, for my personal use, but it's actually the case for those Crow tarot cards there. So still a work in process, but I've got it molded for the basic shape. Still undecided as to what I'm going to do with the flap, but I use this really awesome rainbow variegated waxed thread to sew it, which I'm pretty pleased with. And I decided I might do some carving on it, but I decided to not dye it, because with the vegetable tanned leather, with time, it will become really nicely patinaed, and I kind of wanted that process to occur, because I love this deck and plan on keeping them around for a long time, and I liked the idea of every time I used the cards in this container, a little bit of that energy of affinity between me and this deck and the way that we work together sort of get kept and protected by something that I had made with my own hands. So Anyhow, but this is a belt pouch that I just need to finish. I was noticing I did a craft sale yesterday, and I was noticing on this one that I didn't do the best job burnishing the edges, so I was just going to redo that. But this is one also vegetable tanned, but here I dyed it and I did some carving on it, which isn't showing up that great in this light, but there we go. So yeah, so I dyed it, carved it, sewed it, all that good stuff. So that one is eventually going to be, or is for sale. Maybe someday I'll get the Etsy page up and running, but probably not today. So next, I think we're going to take a look outside because we have been getting some pretty traditional Pacific Northwest weather. It's been cooler this spring than is typical, but we have been getting lots of rain and fewer frosts, which is lovely because we don't usually have very many hard frosts here, and we've had plenty of them this past season. So as a result, everything is starting to look really lush out there and really beautiful, and I want to share it with you. So next, we're going to do that.